In 1989, a box office flop would go on to become a cult classic and be considered one of the greatest coming-of-age stories of all time. And in 2014, someone made a stage musical out of it. Today, we are looking at Heathers the Musical. Yes, on this show that focuses on stage shows, we are finally talking about a stage production instead of a movie adaptation. Before we get into it though, a word of warning. Please check the trigger warnings in the description box now. I'll wait. I pride myself in creating a safe environment, one where you can safely watch without being triggered by all kinds of triggers, be that Andrew Lloyd Webber's favourite method of ending lives, the dangle, or the permanent ending of one's own future. I use euphemisms to describe demises so that I don't have to accidentally trigger something for people. I pride myself in clever editing to show just enough and let the script and my acting do the heavy lifting. But this is Heathers, a violent movie full of bullying, slurs, things that go bang, blue, life-altering drinks, and attempts at ending things in a permanent way, both real and fake. I will do my best to spare you of some of these, but sometimes, for emphasis or for clarification, I will have to show certain things. If you can't deal with that, I fully understand. Please click away from the video now. Watch another one of my videos if you'd like. I hear the Rocky Horror Picture Show one is pretty good. Anyway, without any further ado, Heathers the Musical.
September 1st, 1989. Dear Diary, I think I'm a good person. I believe there's good in everyone. Fair
warning, there's gonna be a whole lot of back and forth between musical and movie in this one, because neither are without flaws.
Freak, sluts, burnout, bug-eyes, poser, lord-ass. Freak, sluts, loser, short boss.
Immediately, the musical decides to insult us.
Pull that stuck-up hunchback.
As I have already mentioned, there's a whole lot of LGBTQIA+ unfriendly slurs in this.
Freak, sluts, triple, homo.
But something tells me someone else is going to be talking about this, so that comes later. Just know that I'm not giving this modern adaptation any free passes on calling the community slurs, just because it's based on the late 80s.
Things will get better soon as my ladder comes from Harvard, Duke, or Brown.
Anyway, the musical is still busy introducing its cast.
Oops. Ram Sweeney, third year as linebacker.
But it is taking a moment to let the ensemble show, which is an underrated feature.
Why won't he date me?
Why did I wear this? Why do I cry myself to sleep? Somebody help me, somebody fix me.
I do like the whole freeze frame thing they're establishing. It's very Hamilton.
But I know, life can be beautiful.
The movie opens itself quite differently. With the Heathers playing croquet while Que Sera plays. I'm not sure that this Caligula treatment is allowed, but let's ask Mr. Lunt.
Croquette is my speciality.
Good. So, is this allowed? Okay then. Good chat. Moving on. Back with the musical, we are introduced to the titular Heathers.
Then there's the Heathers. They float above it all.
for the sake of convenience, I'm gonna be calling them red, green, and yellow.
I'd like to kidnap a Heather, photograph her naked in an abandoned warehouse, and leave her tied up for the rats.
Wrong movie, bucko. The Girl Next Door casting is... next door. The book did come out in 1989, so that is a nice touch. But yeah, that's a topic for another darker day.
Grow up, Heather. Bulimia is so 87.
Speaking of darker days, I'm not entirely certain the bulimia reference is raising awareness or shaming a problem.
Gross. Grow up, Heather. Bulimia is so 87.
Regardless, brave touch for both the movie and the musical.
Veronica?
Gotta say, the movie handles the scene a whole lot faster.
What did you say, dickhead? I'll repeat myself.
With Dollar Store John Bon Jovi over here, played by Christian Slater, in one of his first roles, straight up, blanking them at no distance.
I don't know, probably row out to the middle of a lake somewhere.
This needs to be said, however. Christian Slater is as out of place here as Steve Buscemi would be.
How do you do, fellow kids?
What?
At Veronica's place,
Will somebody please tell me why I read these spy novels?
Because you're an idiot, Dad.
Oh yeah, that's it.
we get a very unnecessary addition.
This isn't pate, it's liverwurst.
I'm aware of that, Heather. It's a family joke.
Ow! Funny.
That's just serving to show how cruel the Heathers are.
Oops.
Clean that right now.
Do I look like the maid?
As if we aren't already aware. Anyway,
Don't forget to buy corn nuts! It's not a party without corn nuts!
Veronica meets Kiefer Sutherland from The Lost Boys at the 7-Eleven.
Greetings and salutations. You want a Slurpee with that?
No. But if you're nice, I'll let you buy me a big gulp.
There's some real weird and unnecessary changes in dialogue during this scene, and I can't really figure out why.
Hey, I love this place.
No offense, but why?
I've been through 10 high schools. I start to get blurry. No point planning route.
This scene is also about 3 times as long.
All I can trust is this concrete oasis. Seems every time I'm about to despair, there's a 7-Eleven right there.
Hashtag not an ad.
Does your mommy know you eat all that crap?
Not anymore. When Mom was alive, we lived halfway normal.
The song is real Disney. JD is the villain. I don't need a song to make him human.
Get lost in the pain. Shut your eyes tight till you vanish from sight. Let nothing remain.
You're living in America at the end of the millennium.
His personality is that of a cold, brooding, heartless maniac. That'll come later, but this song is a real slap in the face of the movie.
Hold his arms. No! Who's a great big sissy? Who's going to prom in a bright pink dress? Who's a sissy?
Me? I'm a sissy, I'm a big fat sissy!
Establishing the dads is a necessity for one of the scenes later, but I don't like how they do it. Again, the slurs are absolutely unnecessary, and it is starting to get to me. There is a lot of modern references written into this.
Dang, dang, diggity, dang, 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 diggity, dang, dang.
There's no reason to keep outdated language.
So, it's salt, then shot, then lime. Very important to get the order right.
You're an
True, just like my mom.
Once again, a weird change that's unnecessary. In the movie, they're at a college party.
It's so great to be able to talk to a girl and not have to ask what's your major. I hate that.
With the frat bros being their frat broiest.
So, when you go to college, what subjects do you think of studying?
Smooth. Whereas, in the musical, it is a high school party.
It's time for big fun.
One of the weaker songs. In general, the song sounds stunningly generic, but this one takes the pick for most generic.
You were a bluebird. You were a brownie. You were a Girl Scout cookie.
In the movie, we get a real weird exchange that really shows us how far removed the Heathers are from reality. To recap,
You were a bluebird.
one of the prettiest birds,
You were a brownie.
one of the best cake-based desserts,
You were a Girl Scout cookie.
and the only reason millennials open the door without warning. None of these are insults.
I got paid in puke.
But also, could someone put out the burning trash can? That's super dangerous. Anyway, back to the musical.
Swim for it.
What's going on?
Go home. I'll explain later. But go.
I absolutely hate how much they're humanizing Veronica. Again, villains don't need to be humanized. They need to be despised. In fact, no one in the movie is good. They're all either evil or blissfully ignorant.
No one at Westerberg's going to let you play their reindeer games.
Someone tell Red that reindeer games are not a good thing.
Lick it up, baby. Lick it up.
Anyway, at this point, we are almost 40 minutes into this musical and no one has expired yet.
The demon queen of high school has secreted.
This musical is weirdly concerned with being a musical as opposed to telling a story. To the point where they change the story, the events, and even the dates and times.
Dreadful etiquette, I apologize.
Here, for example, the movie has JD break into her window, and yet...
I'm snapping off your window lock. Got no time to knock. I'm a dead girl walking.
Veronica?
Here, she begs him, in song, to... pick her flower.
I didn't wake you. See, I decided I must ride you till I break you. 'Cause Heather says I got to go. Get your ass in gear, make this whole town disappear. Pull my hair, touch me there and there.
I don't think I can get away with not making this reference.
Touch it, touch it, touch it, touch me.
Hello, sluts. How did you get in here? I'm like oxygen.
This nightmare takes place much, much later in the movie, and it's desperately out of place here. It doesn't fit the structure nor the story. It is awful, in fact.
That was my first game of strip croquet. You're welcome.
The movie also has them have intimacy, and the next morning...
Heather!
Maybe she's not here.
Trust me. She skips the Sunday morning trip to Grandma's even when she's not hungover.
Both versions make their way into Heather's home.
Trust me, she skips the Saturday morning trip to Grandma's even when she's not hungover.
Breaking and entering seems to be normal in this town of Sherwood, Ohio.
Big blue.
Wait, what are you doing? You can't just... Besides, she would never drink anything that looks like that.
Some kitchen blubber later. Actually, I have to say this because I was quite amused and I had to look things up.
Fix me a prairie oyster and I'll think about it.
Red is asking for a prairie oyster, which, as many will know, is a drink with raw egg, Worcestershire sauce, salt, pepper and oftentimes hot sauce. But my mind went to the Canadian prairie oyster, which in the US is called a Rocky Mountain oyster, which is bull testicle. So you can imagine that I was laughing quite hard.
Nice! But you're still dead to me.
And here we get to our first... okay, if you made it this far into here, I hope you know what's happening, because there's absolutely no chance I'll be able to dance around these things like I usually do. Not gonna stop me from trying though. So, here we get to our first permanent derusting for the movie.
My problems were myriad.
I was having my period.
And our two villains are writing a self-derusting note.
From Queen Crown, no one thinks a pretty girl's feelings
In the form of song, obviously.
are me inside of me. Jesus, you're making me sound like Air Supply.
And I'll concede, the acting and idea for this one is hilarious. I really like it. The movie has this moment a little more serious, you know, seeing as they just wrote her out of the movie.
I mean, hey, you can do Heather's handwriting as well as your own, right? Right?
My God, look what we've done, we're breaking through. Heather would be so proud of you.
And so, like that, Red becomes Jesus.
As anyone who saw The Breakfast Club can tell you, all teenagers are essentially the same.
Mrs. Fleming is hands down the most well done part of this adaptation. She's even more ignorant and hippie bish-bosh than in the movie.
Children are dying. What this school needs is a good old-fashioned rap session. I suggest we get everyone into the cafeteria and just talk and feel together.
The teachers are at a loss of what to do, which both musical and movie treat incredibly flippantly.
And all we can think to talk about is adequate morning times and misused vocabulary words?
Christ.
We must revel in this revealing moment.
But that's the point. Mrs. Fleming is awful, shining a light on a tragedy and really using that self-ending to make herself seem like a better educator. She's tasteless and disgusting.
I'm just so thrilled to finally have an example of the profound sensitivity of which a human animal is capable.
You're thrilled? What's wrong with you?
Veronica, what are you doing?
Veronica is a lot more distraught in the movie than she seems in the musical. At least, at this point.
It's just this classroom discussion is stirring up emotions I haven't felt since Hands Across America.
You know how I'd blow up one of these shitbox suburban houses? Pack the top floor with thermals, set it all off with a Norwegian in the boiler room. Where's your house, sweetheart?
The dad is an absolute donkeys behind. The movie has the dad more the laissez-faire kind of person.
Hey, son, I didn't hear you come in.
Hey, Dad. How was work today?
Not really giving a hoot about his son, nor anything but his job. But again, I don't need to be given reasons for why someone is a villain. I don't need to see JD as the victim of circumstance, because he is not. He's an emo kid with an agenda, a pretty destructive one at that. That's the entire point of the movie. JD is simply a kid that doesn't see a future, and as such would prefer to leave a legacy in personal self-destruction.
Don't let me stop your great self-destruction!
While taking everyone down with him. That's it. That's all there is to it. Because the movie wanted to make the point of teachers and schools being unequipped to handle the self-demises that were sweeping the nation at the time. It's pointing a finger at those problems and telling everyone clearly that sometimes it's not that deep. Sometimes it's just because you can't see a future. Sometimes it's not because of bullying or other factors that make life as a teen crap. Sometimes it's just your hormones that lead to ill judgment and things that are irreversible. Of course, oftentimes there are factors like bullying, harassment and discrimination based on all kinds of things, be it being gay or trans, being a nerd or of wider stature, or other things. Teens really don't need a reason to make each other miserable. But JD doesn't have any of that. For all intents and purposes, he's a teen that lost his mum, whose dad doesn't give a crap, and because his hormones are running wild, he wants to hurt others, and hurt them drastically. I don't need any more reason than that. Giving him more reason, giving him a human side, only gives him an excuse. He becomes the troubled youth, as opposed to a maniac, and that's simply not the point the movie tried to make. And I guess that's where we get to this video's title, the importance of missing the point. In order for this musical to work as a musical, it has to deliberately miss the point, so that it can come off as tacky, tactless, and borderline offensive in its portrayal of teen demises, self-inflicted or otherwise. Only by missing the point can it up the ante and drive the point home, because it has to embellish the whole thing with catchy tunes, jokes, and stage limitations. It misses the point about JD being a villain because it has to. Otherwise, the songs wouldn't land. It misses the point of Victoria being naive because it has to. Otherwise, her redemption arc would fall flat. It misses the point of the Heathers and their cruelty being confined to the school and classmates because it has to. Otherwise, you would barely ever get an ensemble song. It misses a whole lot of the original story and how it progresses, because it absolutely has to. Because it wants to give you songs that underline the story. It can't do that with the original story. Yes, it's incredibly tasteless, but it has to be to hammer the point home. The point I mentioned earlier. And I'm gonna say it here once, so that I can also hammer the point home. At the time the movie was made, teen suicide was sweeping the world, and schools and parents were shocked and beyond ill-equipped to have proper, meaningful conversations about these things. Arguably, they still are. I myself am a victim of that system, and I got lucky. I survived, but so many others do not and have not. The movie points the finger at these issues, and the musical has to up the ante by being even more tasteless, so that that finger doesn't disappear. It doesn't always work with the musical, but that's fine. It works when it needs to. And in some moments, it really invites us to listen where it itself doesn't. I appreciate that a lot. Anyway, let's get back to Heathers.
God damn, will somebody tell me why I smoke these damn things?
Because you're an idiot.
Oh yeah, that's it.
God damn, will someone tell me why this dad makes jokes like this all the time? Oh, that's right.
I blame not Heather, but rather a society
Red's funeral. The movie actually shows her funeral.
that tells its youth that the answers can be found in the MTV video games.
And it lets us in on all their thoughts, and it really shines a light on how absolutely no one is good.
Oh God, this is a tragic thing, and sometimes I have a hard time dealing with it and stuff. Please send Heather to heaven and all that.
I prayed for the death of Heather Chandler many times. And I felt bad every time I did it, but I kept doing it anyway. Now I know you understood everything.
Jesus, God in heaven, why'd you have to kill such hot snatch? It's a joke, man.
They are all evil.
Jeez, people are so serious. Hail Mary, who aren't in heaven, pray for all the sinners, so we don't get caught. Another joke, man.
Dear God, please make sure this never happens to me, because I don't think I can handle suicide. Fast early acceptance into an Ivy League school, and please let it be Harvard. Amen.
The musical skips all of this, because it needs to make more time for the songs it is shoehorning in.
When I get that feeling, I need sexual healing.
Dear diary, here we are in the dark, 50 yards from my car.
The musical and movie meet up again for date non-consent.
That girl, and don't play hurt if you don't want me staring while you're wearing that skirt. We can't be tamed and we can't be blamed.
Date non-consent has never sounded more fun. Yeah, weird song.
Our love is God.
Would you look at that? The movie dropped the song title.
We were wondering if you had any poems, artwork that Heather did that we can put in the Heather Chandler yearbook spread.
Holy cow! It's Hooch from Scraps! This movie is half a Scraps revival.
Well, take a look. It's a 2-page layout with her suicide note right up here in the corner.
The musical is missing this scene as well.
Our love is God.
In favor of the aforementioned Our Love is God.
The witch is dead, ding dong! Move, bitch, it's I will never shut up again.
Great. Now there's 2 reds. Now I'll keep calling her green, just for consistency. Maybe this song is a good place to point out that there's literal children in the audience. And I'm not really okay with that. I am all for early education, especially when it comes to sex ed. But no kid needs to know what sword fights in her mouth means.
Let's take a look at some of the homosexual artifacts I dug up lying at the scene.
It's the movie's turn to be weirdly offensive in its stereotyping of the LGBTQIA+ community.
Alright. Got an issue with Stud Puppy, Candy Dish, Joan Crawford postcard. Alright, now here's the one perfecto thing I picked up. Mineral water.
I'm not sure I find this charmingly outdated or highly offensive. But no matter, seeing as the movie and musical are rushing us to the next Romeo and Julius moment.
Hi, Veronica. So do we, just whip it out or what?
Take it slow, Ram.
So should I just whip it out, or?
What the fuck have you done?
Stop humanizing villains. So, some, lying later, they're both history, and a Sie haben gelogen note later, we get to the intermission. We get to the intermission. We get to the intermission! What's What's happening? I'm not doing this. What do you mean? I mean that I'm not doing this. It's awful and I can't compare it to music that doesn't exist in the first place. I know, but we gotta keep format. Screw your format! Good lord, why are you so angry? F you and your show! If you want me to do this, it'll be on my terms, and don't you dare flipping interrupt me! I'll do what I want, thank you very much. Test me! Fine, your terms, 10 minutes. Get on with it. No big interludes this time. There's 20 songs and we've only got 10 minutes. 600 seconds. That's 30 seconds per song. So let's do this, song by song. First up, Beautiful, our introduction. It sounds perfectly alright and the choreography is fun with all those slow motions. But it does sound incredibly much like it came straight out of Hamilton, which is something you can say all throughout this musical. Anyway, we get our cast entrance and it works well for that. Nothing special, but fine. It does go on for way too long though, lasting almost 10 minutes with a short break in between. Next, Candy Store, a weirdly arrogant song. Its sole purpose is to get us a deeper characterization of the Heathers and how Victoria got caught up with them. It's shockingly generic, but fun. It oozes with arrogance and megalomania. Wonderfully done. It even gives us a chance to see some of the infighting that already exists. On to Fight For Me, a song so boring that I keep being surprised by its existence, making more use of freeze frames and slow motion acting. But yeah, otherwise insanely lackluster and meaningless. Definitely one of the weaker songs. Next, Freeze Your Brain. Other than previously mentioned issues, a great song. But it does highlight one of the issues of the entire musical. It vaguely sounds like a jukebox musical. I'm consistently reminded of other musicals and other songs, and it's really noticeable in this one. He really does act and sound like Ren's Roger. That's not a criticism, he's great. Anyway, next up, Big Fun. The most boring song, despite it being surprisingly bombastic with a performance that really tries. At the end of the day, it's just teens having a big blowout, and that is as generic as it gets for movies or musicals like this. So I guess it fits. But it's just so insanely forgettable. I've watched this song a million times, and yet I cannot remember a single thing from it. Dead Girl Walking. I really like this one. It's arguably the sexiest songs in this teen-oriented musical, which is weird. But nevertheless, it's a great performance with a choreography that treats the teenage audience with respect. It doesn't sugarcoat that sexuality is a big part of growing up. Next up, The Me Inside of Me. This is the first personal note song, and it introduces us to the ignorance and tastelessness of the adults of the musical. To top it off, the performance is littered with jokes and funny reactions, which really adds to the whole missing the point thing. It glorifies what she has done and sets up the rest of the storyline accordingly. You're welcome, the date non-consent song. Yeah, weird and tasteless idea, with a weirder and more tasteless execution. It's just as disgusting as Veronica makes it seem. The choreography is weird and the lyrics are everything that's wrong with this world. Yes, I'm aware that's the point, but boy do I wish they missed this one. Which technically they did, but the other guy covered that. Moving on to Never Shut Up Again, Green's song. Our first proper show tune for the musical. And it's a real banger. It really speaks for the teenage audience who feels repressed by peers or adults. I'm sure most of us remember how it was and how empowering this would have been, and if you don't, well, you're one of the Heathers or Kurts of this world. Heavy choreography and just a very, very freeing and great song. Next up, Our Love is God. This musical's version of Phantom of the Opera. The melody gets reprised all throughout the musical, and it's just as bland and meaningless. I am bored just thinking about it. But it sets us up for the next unfortunate event, which is all it needs to do, really. It's a typical love song choreography with teens being a bit too forever about their romances. Next song in line is 17, which is another love song that also gets reprised a couple of times. But this one, at the very least, is quite good. Just some teens agreeing to being teens. In a lovely duet, and it works. Nothing wrong here. Choreography is a little lackluster, but it doesn't have to be anything but what it is. Shine a Light, the big Miss Fleming song, which is a wonderful illustration of how far up her own butt she is. The students don't matter, only her power over them and their futures really matter to her. And the song encapsulates that amazingly well. She's utterly oblivious to actual emotions, and boy does it show. And the song is a surprising banger at that. The choreography is a little meh, but oh well, can't have it all. With another personal note, we get into Lifeboat, Yellow's song. It's heavily emotional, being the first real note, and it plays out with that exact emotion. It's low, calm, heavy, and very focused. We are really honing in on a single person and her own emotions, so close to committing the irreversible. It's one of my favorite performances because, for the first time, it feels like the musical knows what it's doing. Shine a Light reprise is next, which has been changed to Wine All Night, which is something I have never really seen before. But it's over almost as quickly as this paragraph. It's clear in its representation of personal demons and depression, one of the best I've ever seen. Next song is called I Say No, hands down the best song of the musical. Veronica gets to show us her vocal cords, and they are positively on fire. A powerful song about breaking up, waking up, and ridding yourself of causes of your problems, and it's written in such a way that it can apply to anything you want it to apply to. Powerful and amazing is what this song is. I could listen to this song all day. We get a tiny Westerberg song before the next one, useless but mercifully short. So whatever, this one doesn't count towards the total anyway. Next up is our last note. This time a balcony jumping one. It's once again very focused and personal, up close and real relatable and painful. This song tugs at your heartstrings and just doesn't let go. A wounded and misunderstood teenage girl who has never known anything but mistreatment ever since she became a teen, clinging hopelessly to memories of childhood. A wallflower by design, and we get a deep and intimate look at her and her sorrow before she too tries to end things drastically. Yo Girl is next, which as songs go is a little weird because technically it's a reprise of the next song. Not sure I've ever encountered that kind of setup before. Anyway, this song is the psycho shower scene of songs, to the point where it kind of sounds like it too. Heavy, intimidating, and full of power. And then the real horror enters, JD himself entirely off the rails. With Meant to Be Yours, which is an absolutely manic song. JD has gone entirely crazy. His lyrical beauty went out the window and has been replaced with megalomaniac self-assuredness, giving us a rundown of what the next 30 minutes are gonna hold. And it's absolutely breathtaking. It's the beginning of the end, And what an entrance it is! The reprise of Dead Girl Walking. Much less sex this time, but still a powerful reprise, telling us she won't be going down without a fight. The whole thing is carefully designed to run us through the entire story and its characters to tie up all the loose ends with the time it's got left. It also makes sure you understand all the fingers it's been pointing throughout the musical. And while I don't think this particular story warrants it, I appreciate that it doesn't assume the audience has media literacy. Seeing as, and I'm not sure I can say that often enough, a big part of the audience are children and teens. Anyway, let's get to the last two songs of this musical. First, I Am Damaged, which wraps up JD's story well, showing us one last time that he is a misguided teen willing to die for his ideals, but nothing more. Which is followed by Veronica taking over the song, trying to make amends with everyone, before smoothly getting into the reprise of 17, our last song, which gives us some real hope for change. It's sweet, heartwarming, and lets us end this horrific story on a real happy note. The school and its students, as well as teachers, are giving a real chance for change, and a real chance for a brighter future. And with that, back to your regularly scheduled program. Not so fast. Yes, you did 20 songs, but by my count, there's 21. You missed one. I did no such thing. I skipped one. Why would you do that? Why? Because it's an absolute disgrace. How are they supposed to know this? I said do your job. Fine, you pestering prairie oyster. Excuse me? You heard me. If you want me to do this, then shut up and stop timing me. Fine, go ahead. The worst song of the musical comes straight after the intermission, which is fitting, seeing as he's gonna jump straight back into it. My dead gay son. The effing funeral. I am mad. Beyond mad. The musical decided that this funeral needed a gay acceptance song. Why does it make me so mad? Because the musical didn't erase any of the slurs in an effort to stick with the times. Homophobic BS, by the way, as the musical uses a lot of current day references. But let's go through this minute by awful minute, second by ever so offensive second. Good lord, this number makes me so unbelievably angry. It starts off by giving us more slurs, more homophobia, and more intolerance, before turning having a gay son into a spectacle of acceptance. The song itself makes unequivocally clear that if the son was alive, he would have been disowned. It goes as far as making clear that the dead part is more important than the gay part. It's full of outdated stereotypes that everyone is weirdly celebrating. It's so very offensive in everything it says and does. It makes unequivocally clear that the only acceptable gay is a dead one. And then they out themselves for some reason. In the middle of a church, making out and almost dry humping. Again, at the fucking funeral of their sons. And then goes straight back to stereotypes and offensive slurs. It's an utterly horrible display of pretend tolerance, and it just didn't need to exist. It's an absolutely stunning display of homophobia dressed up as acceptance, and I cannot say I've ever been this offended while watching a musical. I am beyond mad at this song. And if you make me say one more thing about this, you'll find out how much of a JD I can really be. And with that, back to your regularly scheduled program. Hey, Simba. Remind me to never get on his bad side. Who knew he could be this scary? Oh, yeah. Anyway, the movie handles that F-U-N-E-R-A-L
I can spell, you idiot!
a little differently.
I don't care that you really were some pansy. You're my own flesh and blood, and no, you made me proud.
And while I want to get into a quick rant about how a gay double chopped suey would never get a church funeral, I have a different issue. Why are they wearing helmets?
I love my dead gay son.
Dear Diary, my teen angst bullshit has a body count.
Anyway, the movie gives us a weird heart-to-heart.
Suicide gave Heather depth, Kurt a soul, Ram a brain.
By that logic, you're Toto, seeing as JD wants to go back home. Obedient dog described so well. Huh. That's a video essay in itself. Another day, maybe.
Can't we be 17?
Back with the musical, we get to the big love song, 17, that you just heard of, so skip.
Okay,
The next day we
let's review your hand choreography. Precision is key. Choreography. Precision is key.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Poor Annie. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness.
Yeah, pretty much. That's incredibly flippant. And it is followed by an equally flippant song about ending things permanently. But I'm actually getting ahead of myself, believe it or not. There's 2 whole plot points in those 4 minutes.
Ram didn't write that note. I did. No. Yeah. The Heathers put me up to it.
First, Veronica breaking Martha's heart by revealing the truth in an effort to conceal the truth about the earlier demises.
That doesn't put a smile on your face. Remember how participation in this assembly counts for 1/3 of your grade.
And then a rather eclectic pep speech by Mrs. Fleming, which is more manipulation than pep. But, oh well. Anyway, a very inappropriate song skip later, we have a proper assembly and get everything out in the open.
I thought about killing myself.
Heather, McNamara.
Which is so very and inappropriate. And another song. Skip.
Oh, turn the cameras off! Turn them off, goddammit!
Is that all you care about? TV cameras?
Don't act all high and mighty now, Victoria. Remember, you're the one who...
I killed them!
Oh, you do. Good.
You don't deserve to live. Why not kill yourself?
What a great depiction of depression.
God has cursed me, I think. The last guy I had sex with killed himself the next day.
It is worth mentioning that the movie has this moment very differently. Yellow calls it into a radio show instead of talking about it at the school. It's a weird change because the song would have worked either way. And it only serves to upping the ante I mentioned earlier. But it didn't really need to do that.
Heather, no! Suicide is a private thing.
A heart-to-heart and some tasteless jokes.
Well, if you were happy all the time, you wouldn't be a human being. You'd be a game show host.
And a whole lot of platitudes later.
If everybody jumped off a bridge, young lady, would you? Probably.
They hug and are proper friends.
Thanks for coming after me. You're welcome.
How very. I think this is a good moment to say that the movie uses this very line a lot.
Come on, it'll be very.
How very?
It'll be really very.
And the musical does occasionally.
How very? It'll be so very.
And every time, it leaves me confused. I'm a 90s kid, so I don't know, but I don't for a second believe that teens talked like that in 1989. Anyway, more confrontations with an actual talking over each other that gets addressed.
Keep it all up and let the world slide in the trash. That's fine. But don't act surprised when I'll
You even
smell
listening to me?
like
Stop talking over me.
I appreciate that. You don't see that often. That confrontation, however, gets interrupted by another confrontation with the dad.
Stop playing grab ass. Wait for me in the car.
I'm in the middle of something.
Yeah, I need backup. Our friends have another job for us. Kaboom. Lot of pretty women out there, sport. I can make another son anytime I want.
And an exploding TV later, we are back at the first confrontation.
Why are you carrying a loaded weapon?
Protection.
From what? Reruns. This is it. It's the break. I am finally awake.
Which reminds me of an audio musical.
Come cry for the play. The sad lives and bad taste.
10 snow points if you know this one.
This is it. It's the break. Call it all my mistake.
They predictably break up over this, and with that fantastic solo skip, we get into our last act.
You and Martha Dunstock were friends.
Where did you get these? Did Veronica give them to you? What do you want? Money?
A favor.
We finally get to see the real evil in JD and his manipulating self. He's real good from here on out, much more than JD from the movie. No time for that, apparently, as we get another sung note.
There was a boy I met in kindergarten.
Dropped from a balcony. Skip. Cheering for jumping off a balcony. Weird audience.
Martha wasn't in homeroom today.
Well, did you try calling her house?
Yeah, it just...
However, this time the fall didn't do it. And Martha gets out alive. Thankfully.
You would come far down. You're truly a Heather.
One paranoid vision later, we arrive at Veronica's home.
Where have you been?
Oh, we've been worried sick. Your friend JD stopped by. He told us everything.
And the parents being worried about her following the others. Which is directly followed by another paranoid vision.
Veronica's running on fumes now. Veronica's totally right.
I don't know. Seems to me the parents are right to be worried. Anyway, JD is back and reveals his evil plan.
Why? Our classmates thought they were signing a petition. You gotta come out here and see what they really signed.
Which means stepping in his dad's footsteps and coming up with more war comparisons.
Society turns out slaves and bliss. No thanks. Signed the students of Westerberg High.
Another inappropriate song you've heard of. Later, Victoria does what she does best, imitating Andrew Lloyd Webber. But of course it's fake. How else would we be able to wrap this story up?
Veronica! Mom, I find it. It was just a joke.
It's not funny.
Things are really picking up now, and we get a massive mashup of the big ones.
Heads up, Tweety, I'm a dead girl again. Can't hide from me, I'm a dead girl again.
Veronica confronts JD because why mix up an old formula?
You think just because you started this thing you can end it? The only place different social types can genuinely get along with each other is in heaven. Now there is a school that self-destructed not because society didn't care, but because the school was society.
And the movie does show during the scene just why Christian Slater was cast for Mr. Robot.
World built on fantasy. Synthetic emotions in the form of pills. Psychological warfare in the form of advertising.
The movie also couldn't resist some gratuitous panty shots during the rally upstairs, but frankly, this movie has bigger issues, so let's move on.
A Norwegian in the boiler room? Just like your dad?
Honestly, this scene is just a recap of the entire musical. There's no news, no big reveals, just the peaking of what we've been working towards. Excuse me, what?
Was it good for you? Kinda sucked for me.
In what is a big departure from the movie, she surgically implants metal into him. By accident. The movie has to do it on purpose. After what is a long ramble and a joke.
Which button do I press to turn it off?
Try the red one, all right?
Look at me. I'm done for. And I'm not gonna let you die like my mom.
And the musical has JD show remorse, which, seeing as this is more geared towards a younger audience, I guess that's fine.
Say hi to God.
One explosion later. Wait, what's with that drawing? Oh, right. The musical was shot for television, and as such has ad breaks. And every ad break is accompanied with those drawings. It's a cute idea, but for home viewing, a little distracting. Anyway, we are wrapping up.
All freaks, but that's alright. We'll endure it, we'll survive it. Martha, are you free?
Victoria takes charge and mends old friendships and forges new ones. True ones.
We want a better world, so why not start tonight?
It's a weirdly happy ending, considering what just happened. All in all, the ending is really sweet and leaves you feeling happy, which for a daytime musical is not a bad thing. However, it shouldn't be. The movie just ends. And it leaves you feeling really depressed. That's the point. Anyway, as they sing their beautiful conclusion, so shall I get to mine. But before that, I'll say this. If you like this video, like it and leave a comment. Consider subscribing too. I'm saying this now because saying at the end would feel weird. You'll understand in a moment. Anyway, on to the conclusion. The movie is great. Sure, it's outdated, but it knows what it's doing and what it wants to achieve, and it does that incredibly well. At no point are you feeling anything other than what you are supposed to feel. But the musical? It's awful! Who had this idea? The music is so out of touch. It's a story about teens ending their own stories, prematurely and permanently. It's not meant to be feel-good. It's meant to be utterly depressing. And a musical needs to reflect what its story is trying to say. And it just doesn't. The director of the musical did admit that he wrote a happier ending to give people hope for a brighter future. And yeah, I guess it does that just fine. But that effing funeral scene is so god-awful that I haven't stopped ranting about it ever since I've seen it. Yes, it does manage to point the finger and call out problems, but it's way too happy-go-lucky to be taken seriously. And it just becomes another rehash of a story that was meant to actually say something. Yes, some of the songs are fantastic, others not so much. The story is surprisingly faithful, despite some heavy changes. But all in all, I find the idea of turning teen suicide into a musical shockingly tasteless. And I'm surprised to see it has as many fans as it does. If you find something in it, great, good for you. I'm honestly glad. But it really didn't do anything for me, other than really rile me up and make me unreasonably angry. Please be safe. Get help if you need it. There's always someone who will listen. Don't rush things that can't be reversed. Please. There's resources down in the description and on screen in a moment. Thank you for watching. I'm not sure that this Caligula theory, however. Speaking of darker days, I'm not entirely certain the bulimia reference. Bulimia, isn't it? Yeah. This needs to be said, however. Christian Slater is as out of place in this movie. Damn it. Okay. The events and even the Tates and Dimes. Alright. Red is asking for a prairie oyster, which, as many will know, is a drink with raw egg, Worcestershire sauce, salt, pepper and hot sauce. I can't believe I did that in one take. It's a shame that that baffled me so much that I couldn't continue. Anyway, some kitchen blubber later. Actually, I have to say this because I was quite amused and I had to look things up. Anyway, some kitchen blubber later. Actually, I have to say this because I was quite amused and I had to look things up. Red is asking for a prairie oyster, which, as many will know, is a drink with raw egg, Worcestershire sauce.
There we go.
The musical skips all of this because it needs to make more times for the. Don't act however. We finally get to see the real evil in JD and his manipulating self. He's a real good from. One paranoid vision later, we arrive at Veronica's home and the parents being worried about her. Veronica confronts JD because why mix up an old formula? The movie does however. Yes, some of the songs are fantastic, others not so much. The story is surprisingly